That's a great question, Darren. It's hard to choose. You know, I've won 8 tournaments as a pro, but I'd have to say, you know, one of the ones that meant the most to me was finishing second in the LPGA tournament in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 2 weeks after my mom had passed, because my family was there and it was a big deal, and it was a come from behind kind of story where I birdied the last 6 holes to get there. So, you know, I was super proud of that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Darren. I would say that I'm most proud of, you know, being really an involved aunt in my nephews' lives. I have 2 nephews. I have a really small family, and, you know, I'm very close to, it's just my brother and I and my father. And so my nephews both play college sports. Well, one's in high school going to Notre Dame to play football. One plays at University of Dayton. And I would say that I'm most proud of, like, my involvement in helping them achieve their goals, you know, and being close to them. So, you know, 2 years prior to that, I had already been working at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, you know, as an oncology information specialist. So when I was diagnosed in 2014, you know, I was very comfortable with my team, and, you know, I've been helping patients, as I still do today. I still work there today as an oncology information specialist, and what I do is help patients and their families navigate the cancer landscape and empower them to make good decisions based on, you know, the information that they need. It's such a shock to think about that, you know, as an athlete growing up and being you know, in a professional athletic situation. I never thought that that was going to happen to me, but when it happens to you, it stops you. It makes you think for a second, my body let me down a little bit, or what did I do wrong, or something like that. The other part of it is, it really makes you take a look at the things that you really appreciate, the people around you, who's there for you when you need them, and it really makes you kind of dig into yourself and really kind of look at yourself with a lot of a kinder eye on who you are and how and what really matters in life. I think it's one of those things that teaches you to appreciate yourself and your life so much more. You know, it's funny, when I heard about it, it kind of made me stop and think about those 5 years and how they've gone. I really have just been enjoying life and appreciating just life in general, but, you know, where I work, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, they have a huge event every year that they celebrate 5-year survivors. So I'm going to be with my family celebrating at Celebrate Life in Chicago, where they bring in all of the 5-year survivors, and they have a huge event and celebrate them with red carpets and tree plantings and, you know, just all kinds of great cheer. So it's going to be fantastic. Absolutely. I'd say the average person doesn't realize that they really need to be their own advocate for cancer care, that there's so much information out there that they can learn about their care team, ask the right questions, figure out, you know, if they're confident with their team. You know, it's so important that you have confidence in your team, because those are the things that keep you up at night. If you feel like you have to drive your own care versus them saying, I've got you, and kind of carrying you through that and saying, here's what we're going to do, here's why we're going to do it. But, you know, as your own advocate, learning about your journey and what the options are is just key. It's really important. Well, I'd like to be more consistent on what I'm doing, but I do intermittent fasting. I'm working on that. I try to exercise at least 30 minutes a day. I do meditate, and I also do Reiki. So I think all of those things. I love football. I love all sports, but I love watching the Cubs. I love football. I love the Bears. My nephews both play college football, and so I don't miss a game. You know, pretty much don't want to do anything except watch them play, so it's very exciting. The Notre Dame Michigan game was when I went with my nephew. He's playing there next year, but yeah, that was his recruiting trip, so that was a cool game. I've been practicing Jiken and Reiki for 5 years now. I started doing it when I first was diagnosed, because I was so amazed at what happened. So now I'm licensed internationally as a Jikiden. Well, it's called Shienkaku, but it's a teacher. So I'm teaching Reiki in a couple of weeks. I teach it, I practice it, and it's really fun. Yeah, Darren, I'm going to take that literally, because you know what? I get asked that question almost every day at my job. Do I tell my kids about cancer, or should I keep it from them? And you know, I would say, you know, at a certain age, most of the time these kids are so intuitive. You should tell the kids. It takes the air out. It takes the fear out of it, and it lets everyone be on the same page so that they can come together. Kids are very smart. They're intuitive, and they're going to figure it out. Or sometimes they may think that they did something wrong. So, you know, in my opinion, I think you're better off talking to them about it. They may surprise you. Thank you, Darren. It's been an honor to be here. Thanks again.